Finland and Russia share more than just a border. These two countries have had their share of tumultuous history. Russia annexed a part of the Finnish territory years ago, but it seems that it wasn't the only piece of Finland that Moscow actually stole. Åland Islands, an autonomy within Finland, may have the answer. The islands can be compared to Crimea in more ways than just one. They are a key bargaining tool between Moscow and Helsinki. Vladimir Putin is planning to visit Finland this July. It will be the first trip since the sanctions against Russia were put in place after it annexed Ukraine's Crimean peninsula. Though the Ukrainian ambassador to Finland thinks it wouldn't be a surprise to see a shift in Putin's policy towards Europe.
There are a lot of parallels. The Soviet Union back then created the FDR, so-called republic that was very similar to what Russia is trying to create with the DPR and LPR. Putin is using the same slogans his USSR predecessors did.
The ambassador is quick to bring up facts about the Russo-Finnish War. Then the USSR annexed more than 10% of Finland, forcing nearly 500,000 people to become displaced. Marcus Pelton often recalls his grandfather's stories about the times.
My grandfather fought on the land that was ours, and then Russians took it, and it hurts me, just like it hurts other Finns. And another reason why it hurts, because these stories are passed on from generation to generation.
Åland Island's peaceful existence would not cause anyone to get alarmed if it weren't for a small piece of land. Recently, the Finnish media uncovered an odd find, a plot of land in the islands actually belonging to the Russian Federation. The USSR signed an agreement with Finland back in the 1940s, so comparing it to the current situation with Crimea seems only fair.
When we talk about Crimea and Åland Islands, as if there could be little green men here at any point, that's concerning.
In 2015, that concern was high enough for the Finnish Minister of Defense, who warned that Finland is ready to defend the Åland Islands, especially if someone in foreign uniform shows up there. The islands have more than a few dents of the Russian Empire, old sculptures, stones, buildings. But it's not just the historical past that is topping the headlines. The driver knows exactly where we are going, to the property of the Russian Federation, but he is much less politically correct.
Holding house.
Indeed, the property seems to be dating back to the Viking times. It's strikingly green too. Unlike the neatly trimmed lawns we passed by, this greenery looks unruly. It's overgrown with weeds, abandoned. The home itself seems to have been left a long time ago. Although it's big and evidently was quite exquisite at one point, appliances were obviously left untouched for decades, and their trademark Soviet style gives them away. Aside from the old stove and fridge, there are seldom few reminders of its connection to Russia. So how did this property end up in the Russian hands?
Sometimes we have seen some people from the embassy.
Åland Islands have a strategic location. They are right in the middle of the Baltic region between Finland and Sweden and just a stone's throw away from Estonia, Lithuania and Latvia. So, is the Kremlin's lot here a coincidence or a well-thought-out strategic move? And who better to ask than Mats Löfström? He is the only parliamentarian representing the autonomous Åland region in the Parliament of Finland.
The whole plot of land is about 6,000 square meters. So that is the size of the land. And what happened a couple of years ago was that Russia divided, which is the owner of that land, divided the plot of land into two pieces. And one of the pieces is registered now in the name of the President's office of Russia.
The transfer happened after the Second World War. The reason behind it may be the most surprising part. The property belonged to a Finnish-German family. According to the Paris Peace Treaty, everything once German became Russian overnight. That went unnoticed for years, until Moscow decided to violate the Budapest Memorandum, causing Finland to re-evaluate its policy.
This year, the government of Finland will publish white paper on the foreign and security policy. And the deadline for the document is the end of June, as far as I know at this point. And this will be the time and place for the government to decide what is the current policy towards NATO, and I mean membership and partnership program, what are the goals and the level of cooperation.
And so it comes down to the NATO question. For years, Finland stood aside from the alliance, carefully watching and not taking any steps towards closer cooperation. This suited the Russian Federation well, given its stance on the alliance. However, recently Finland shifted its focus on NATO, rattling more than a few feathers in the Kremlin. Putin's upcoming visit to Helsinki could be a warning that Russia won't let go that easily. Meanwhile, Finland's government is actively planning for a referendum on joining the NATO.